Have you ever had that one friend who preaches, if I was given the proper training back in my hockey days, I had a real shot at making the NHL?
Coach would have put me in fourth quarter, we'd have been state champions, no doubt.
If I had the proper opportunities, I was bound for pro hockey. And you know what? I'm sure many of us have had this thought before. I know some of you guys have, as I've seen countless comments. And maybe when I say I had one friend like that, I'm actually talking about myself. Because when it comes to hockey, this shit has layers. In Canada, the peak of youth hockey is typically U18 AAA. You then move up to Junior A, or perhaps you're good enough to play in the CHL. And if your pro career doesn't work out, many players go from the CHL to playing university hockey. In the States, you have high school hockey, AAA, and of course, the United States Development Program. In places like Sweden, kids as young as 16 get recruited by professional scouts to play on their youth team. As if the Canucks, for example, had a team for 16-year-olds, only for those players to work their way up to the SHL. But in general, this right here is the hierarchy of hockey. Hockey has layers, and depending on where you live in the world, each league develops their players in its own unique way. Therefore, the skill gap between your average beer leaguer and an NHL player is astronomical. This right here is Brian Scalabrine, who was renowned for being the worst player in the NBA, if not NBA history. And this right here is high school star Jake Fay. Also, I know this is a hockey video, and we'll get back to hockey, but this story is amazing and provides great perspective. Because back in 2013, Brian Scalabrine would wrap up his NBA career, where he would then launch a TV show called The Scallenge. After over a decade of criticism from the fans, Brian wanted to show the world that even elite high schoolers or college athletes couldn't even come close to beating him in a one-on-one. And well, it would happen. After getting called out, Brian Scalabrine would wipe the floor with Jake Fay, as he would shut him out with a final score of 11-0, where we would then see his infamous quote, "I am closer to LeBron James than you are to me," as he was basically saying that even as the worst NBA player, even if you're a top prospect in the world, he's closer to the best player than you are to him. And back in 2016, Bobby Ryan would launch his own series, where he too would face off against minor league stars and current beer leaguers. And keep in mind, this wasn't a prime goal of the year Anaheim Ducks Bobby Ryan.
Benson does drag it around, leg one, lost the stick, now he's in, Abrine score! Spectacular goal!
No, this was a 29-year-old Bobby Ryan who was seeing regression year after year. Yet, my goodness, it would happen. In a one-on-one matchup, the beer leaguer was given 5 chances to score on an empty net, where this would happen. Not only was he not able to register a single shot, but the man wasn't able to skate with the puck for more than 3 seconds. Hell, Bobby Ryan would even flip his stick to make it easier, but no. After that, he would even remove his stick from the equation, and it didn't matter. In the next episode, Bobby Ryan would show off board work. And well, it looks like the beer leaguer was a literal child who had never skated before. Like seriously, this perspective shows how an average person will get destroyed in every aspect of hockey when it comes to facing an NHL player. But okay Rob, he was a beer leaguer. So what about someone who played at a high level? Well, this right here is Trevor Thompson, a man who at his peak played university hockey in Junior A in the OJHL. So right off the bat, he's played at a higher level than 99% of hockey players. And this right here is Pavel Datsyuk, who just won his 3rd straight Selke Trophy for the best defensive forward in the NHL. And during a Bally Sports segment, Trevor Thompson would challenge Datsyuk to a one-on-one game of keep away. And well,
Me too. You're too fast.
Not only did he start with the puck, not only was Datsuk not even trying, but the man couldn't even come close to touching the puck. Trevor Thompson was a respectable hockey player, and it looked like that video of Ilya Kovalchuk playing keep away with his kids. But okay, so what about professional players facing off against NHLers? Well, during the 2012-2013 lockout, we would see numerous NHL players go overseas, where we would gain even more perspective on how dominant of a hockey player you need to be in order to play in the NHL, as we would see Claude Giroux and Daniel Briere go to Germany to play in the DEL, where they were on pace. And keep in mind, when NHL players go overseas during the lockout, they're usually there to have a good time. However, they were on pace to set the league record for points in a season. Perhaps this past preseason, we would see the Vancouver Canucks match up against the Calgary Flames. Except, something was off, as the Canucks wouldn't send a single NHL regular, as they would instead send what was basically their AHL team. But you might be thinking, these guys are still pros playing at a high level, in arguably the second best league in the world. Hell, some of these guys could be, or will be playing in the NHL this season. Yet, we would see complete and utter domination.
Here's Kadri behind the net, coming towards the front. Backhander scores! His man, he's got Huberdeau in front. Nazem Kadri, Huberdeau scores!
Oh, there's a turnover.
And a goal. Coronado has his second. All the way back to Hanifin, who shoots, he scores! And Ruzicka centers the puck. Oh, they score! The second attempt. Going to battle with Jack Rathbone. Coronado comes up with the puck, and they score! And Jones double clutched. Now Ruzicka centers, dished off. Coronado shoots, he scores!
In fact, it wasn't even close, as the Flames would run a clinic on the Canucks with a final score of 10-0, which goes to show that even the skill gap between our AHL team and the big boys, the NHL team, can be night and day. So if anything, I hope this video provides perspective on how good of a hockey player you need to be a great NHL player. The Cale Makar Chase box is still in stock, where you are guaranteed a graded card PSA 9 and up, as well as a sealed hockey product in every box. Big shout out to Riley for editing this video, and as always, thanks for watching.